Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Shri Nitai Sat Shri Sundara Shri Ki Jai Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaura Bhaktarinda Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Look how many devotees we have tonight. That is absolutely beautiful. So may I welcome Prakash from Delhi, Amit from Leicester, and Divandra Dharma from somewhere, Birmingham, or Wolverhampton, I think. Welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, just to let you know, I'm staying till around about 8. I need to go and pick my from the station at just after
Okay.
8 o'clock. So,
Okay.
hope you don't mind.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
What are we going to discuss tonight?
8-3.
8.3. That came very prepared. Bhagavad Gītā 8.3.
You wasn't expecting that, Prabhu, were you?
8.3. I hope you have an alternative for us.
Oh, good point.
Yes, why not? Let's see how long that purpose is. H3, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's share the screen so we can all see. I think now we can see it. Who wants to read that Sanskrit? Amit?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll give it a go.
Yes, give it a go.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Uvakacha.
No, Uvacha.
Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Aksaram Brahma Paramam. Svabhavo Yayatmam Yuchet.
Yaya. No, look again.
Which bit, Prabhu?
Dhyatmam.
Dhyatmam.
Not Dhyaya. There is no the second Ya. You see the word Dhya? Atmam. Atma. The word Atma, the self, the soul is there. So read again. Svabhavo.
Svabhavo Dhyatmam Yuchyate. Bhuta Bhavo Karo.
Bhavat Bhava.
Bhavat Bhava. Bhuta Bhavat Bhava Karo. This arga karma samchitnita.
Gita.
Samgitna. Isakya karma
Gita.
Gita.
Okay. So ideally, you want to learn how to sing it in the meter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavo Dhyatmam Uchyate Bhutta Bhavat Bhavakaro Visharga Karma Samkita. Okay. Let's have the translation. Amit.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his internal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities.
Okay, quite clear. Krishna is speaking. The indestructible transcendental living entity. We know we are eternal. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gītā, the soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon, not withered by the wind, not burned by fire. So the soul is eternal, indestructible, and transcendental. Transcendental to the body. And that soul is called Brahman. So there is also something called Brahma. What's the difference between Brahma and Brahmin? Brahman. And Brahmin, yes, three. Brahma, Brahman, and Brahmin. What's the difference? Who can say?
What are the three? One, Brahman, Brahmin, and
Brahman and Brahma. Three terms, different meaning. Here we have
okay.
Brahman. Brahman. What's Brahman?
Brahman is your living, is yourself.
It's a self. Yes, it's a spiritual self.
Spiritual self. Brahmin is an actual caste.
Is it what?
It's like a caste. Brahmin.
Brahmin is a Brahmana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brahmin or Brahmana. We say sometimes Brahmin. So a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So according to Varnas in the Varnashram system. And Brahma, what is Brahma?
I don't know. No.
Lord Brahma. Who is Lord Brahma? Who's Lord Brahma? Dharm, what do you say? Who's Lord Brahma?
Hindu deity, creator.
It's a creator, it's an architect, secondary creator, we should say, because Krishna is the original creator, and Lord Brahma was empowered by Krishna. You know Lord Brahma, Amit. So four-headed personality, so most pious living entity in the universe. Lord Brahma is a position. It's not an eternal position. A living entity gets that position if it's the most pious living entity in the entire universe. So many pious people, many pious. They're doing good deeds and so pious. Sukriti, pious activities. So, but the most pious, you could analyze who is the most pious person in our household? Who's the most pious person in our family, extended family, in our community? Who's the most pious person in the country, in Leicester, in the UK? So we'll find someone who's the most pious person. And then who's the most pious person in the world? We'll surely find the most pious person in the world. But Lord Brahma, who is an architect, the secondary creator, he's the most pious personality in the entire universe. Because Lord Brahma, he he's the architect of this universe. He's in charge of this universe. And there's so many, many universes. And Lord Brahma, with his four heads, he is the top personality governing over this universe. Each universe has a Lord Brahma, and some are bigger. Our universe is one of the smaller ones. There is a very interesting story. When Lord Krishna asked, "Bring me Lord Brahma in my presence," though the message was relayed to Lord Brahma. Krishna wants you. He gives some audience. So please, quickly, go and see the Lord. So he knocked on the gates of Vaikuntha. When the gatekeeper, Vaikuntha has a gate. So no demons or non-devotees can enter. So the gatekeeper asked, who shall I announce? Well, he was a little bit disturbed. Don't you see, I have 4 heads? Lord Brahma, he is at the gate. So he went back to Lord Narayan, and then he came back and said, which Lord Brahma? And then that threw him completely off. Well, I am the only Lord Brahma, he thought. So these questions threw him off track. He was a bit proud as well. Which Lord Brahma? Well, I am the Lord Brahma. And then Lord Narayan, in his wonderful mercy to teach a lesson to Lord Brahma, suddenly all Lord Brahmas from all universes, they assembled. Some had 16 heads, 24 heads. According to the heads, is the size of the universe. The bigger universes, that Lord Brahma has hundreds of heads. And then, when our Lord Brahma saw all the other Lord Brahmas who had many times bigger universes to administer, then he became very humble. So it's a position. We know from Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamrita, beautiful work. If you ever get your hands on the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, please do get it and read it. Gop Kumar, the cowherd boy, his journey up to the higher planetary systems, to Vaikuntha and eventually to Goloka Vrindavan, is described. That will be our journey as well. So Gop Kumar, he went by some divine mantra which was given to him by his Gurudev. He chanted and he reached Brahma Loka. Each of the devas, they have their own planet. So Lord Brahma has also his own planet. Loka means place, planet. So Lord Brahma lives in Brahma Loka, which is the topmost planet in the universe. When a partial devastation takes place, all the lower planetary systems are destroyed, but Brahma Loka survives. A partial devastation happens when Lord Brahma goes to sleep. At the end of a day of Lord Brahma, and we're speaking millions and millions of years. At the end of Lord Brahma's day, there is a partial devastation in the lower planetary systems, but Brahma Loka is not affected. So sages who residing in other planets like Tapaloka and Mahaloka, and they all take shelter of moving up to Brahma Loka, because when the devastation takes place, they don't want to be there. It's not nice. Devastation by fire, by water, and it's just the end of the universe. But in this case, only of the lower part of the universe. So that is Lord Brahma with his topmost position, topmost planet in the universe. Life expectancy, as we go up to the higher planetary systems, so we come to the Svarga, to the heavenly planets, life expectancy is 10,000 years. Wow, we might think, that's a long time. I wish I could become 10,000 years. How many birthdays I could celebrate? 10,000. 10,000 birthday cakes. Amit, I invite you herewith on Saturday, Vaishana Mataji has birthday today. If you want to write her happy birthday on WhatsApp, you're most welcome. But we want you to come on Saturday. We'll have a cake and we do a little bit celebration. Can you come?
Sorry, sorry, is that the rest of me?
Amit.
Oh, sorry.
You can also come. Dharm. Amit, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Would you be able to come on Saturday?
Yeah, Prabhu, I think I should be okay. We got some activism on Saturday. It's not in Leicester, so hopefully we should get back in time.
Yes, come. Vaishana Kishori
Okay.
Mataji will be very happy.
Sure. Okay. No. Yes.
Because
birthday.
you wanted to come some weeks ago and it was quite firm. I said, yes, I will come. But you never came. So now it's a time. On Saturday, right? That would be great. Dharm, if you want to come from Wolverhampton, you're most welcome. 7 o'clock. Saturday. So, in that Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopkumar, he traveled to Tapoloka, he met the four Kumaras, he traveled to Mahaloka, and then he traveled by the power of his divine mantra, he reached Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma, he had the audience of Lord Brahma, four-headed Lord Brahma. Somehow or other, by some offense on Lord Brahma's side, he left his position. Like in government, when people are embarrassed, they have been betting on the election date, and then they disappear. They excuse themselves. They're leaving their position, or they are voluntary leaving. That is quite honorable. If they don't leave, they're being thrown out, which is not that honorable. So Lord Brahma left his position. There was nobody to take the position of Lord Brahma. So what to do? So that position cannot be empty. Let's say the Prime Minister, if the Prime Minister, let's say it came out the Prime Minister was also gambling on the election date. So he has to leave his position. So what to do? There is no Lord Brahma. So they search, the Brahmins and the elders, they looked for someone who is qualified to take Lord Brahma's position. And they observed Gopkumar. He had all wonderful qualities. He was humility personified. He had knowledge. He had everything. So they asked him humbly, please, will you take the position of Lord Brahma? So, if asked in such a manner, you cannot really refuse. So he said yes. He was very pious, Gopkumar. Welcome, Amrita Radhe Mataji. So Gopkumar took the position of Lord Brahma. But he wasn't really satisfied, because he hankered after the darshan of Lord Krishna. Not even Lord Vishnu. He wanted to have the darshan of Lord Krishna, of Gopal, Lord Krishna who is tending the cows and playing his flute. So when the opportunity arose, Lord Brahma came back. So Gopkumar excused himself and he gave the position back to Lord Brahma. That happens not in this material world. If someone gets a position, they never give it back. They become so attached to power. Anyway, Gopkumar was a very humble devotee. So he didn't want the position in the first place. He was persuaded. So he handed it back to Lord Brahma, and he traveled by the power of his divine mantra, he traveled to Vaikuntha. To Vaikuntha. And we know, we have spoken many times, at the gate of Vaikuntha, yes, there's a gate. He saw some person with 4 arms and a bluish color, and armlets, golden armlets, and earrings, and helmet, all pure gold, and garlands, and so we thought, this is my beloved Lord. And he offered obeisances, and he glorified, and he said, oh my Lord, finally I'm able to see you. And that personality said, no, 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 no. I'm not Lord Vishnu, I'm not Lord Narayan. I'm Vishnu Dutta. I'm a resident of Vaikuntha. So in Vaikuntha, all living entities have 4 arms, a bluish color, garlands and necklaces and armlets and earrings and helmet. So if we want to see Lord Narayan, so come with us. And when we got the darshan of Lord Narayan saw him, and he looked very pleased of finally seeing Gop Kumar, who has been traveling through all the different planets and arrived in Vaikuntha. And when Gop Kumar saw Lord Narayan, he called out, oh Gopal, my Gopal, finally I have your darshan. And the other inhabitants, the other Vishnu Duttas, Vaikuntha Vasis, inhabitants of Vaikuntha, said, what you talking? This is Lord Narayan. You calling him Gopal? He's not a coward tending cows. He's Lord Narayan. He is the supreme controller of Vaikuntha. You shouldn't speak like this, calling him a coward. So he was rebuked. And after some time, Narada Muni, he took him to the side. And he said, why, now you're in Vaikuntha, but I can detect you are not completely satisfied. You want to see your Gopal, not Lord Narayan. You want to see your Gopal tending the cows. You want to go to Goloka. Chant this mantra, and I will help you to enter Goloka. And he chanted his mantra, and before he knew, he was at the gate of Goloka. Another gate. Goloka, Krishna Loka. And there he saw some old man sitting on the ground and sobbing and crying. And he asked, what happened to you? Why are you crying? The old man said, oh, my Gopal is coming home from the forest. Oh, my Gopal is coming home. I haven't seen my Gopal all day long. And now I'm so overwhelmed. I said, I'm crying. My Gopal is coming from the forest in a moment's time. And then Gop Kumar saw the palace of Nanda Maharaj. Beautiful palace. And so many gopis, ladies from the palace and surrounding areas, they all ran into one direction. And then again he asked her, well, where's they running to? Why is they running? And some were even not fully dressed. They had their saris the wrong way. They had one ear with earrings and another without. So all looked like for a complete haste. And their hair wasn't done. It's just like when we, in haste, we go into the office and we're realizing I have only one sock on her. Something like that. Very embarrassing. But they weren't embarrassed. They were just so excited to see Gopal Krishna coming from the forest. So he was told there in a short time, Gopal Krishna, our Lord and everything, he will come home from the forest after all day long tending the cows. And he could already hear the mooing of the cows. Moo! And there was a dust cloud in the distance, because when the cows are walking a bit quick, then they're raising the dust. And then Krishna and Balaram, they're full of dust, and it's described in the scriptures, when the dust has settled on Krishna and Balaram, they look even more beautiful. More beautiful. So then he stood there with the other inhabitants, Goloka Vasis of Goloka, and they all stared there where the dust cloud was and where the mooing of the cows came from. And then they saw the cowherd boys dancing. That's life. Dancing, chanting, and feasting. That's all what they do. They don't have to go to work. They don't have to pay bills. They don't have to worry about anything. They don't even have to worry about their own protection, because Krishna will take care of them. Like, they even challenge Krishna. Like when the Aghasura demon was laying down there in the forest, he wanted to swallow Krishna. He had a huge mouth, it looks like a cave. And he thought the cowherd boys who were walking a bit ahead of Krishna, they will enter in my mouth. And then Krishna, he cannot just let that happen. He will also enter, and then I will close my mouth. And I will kill Krishna. I will digest him. He was a servant of Kamsa, Aghasura, a demon. That was his plan. And the cowherd boys, when they saw this huge snake, with that huge open mouth, which was so big, it just like the top of the trees, tall. And some cowherd boys said, that's not a cave. It looks like this is a demon. And the other cowherd boy said, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. It smells fishy from inside. That was his intestines. But whatever it is, let's just walk in and see how Krishna will rescue us. What an excitement. Because Krishna is always rescuing his friends. Let's see how Krishna will rescue us. So they dared Krishna in that way, and they walked in. And then Krishna was thinking, what shall I do? Okay, I will enter too. So Krishna entered in that mouth of the Aghasura demon, and then he closed his mouth. And Krishna expanded himself bigger and bigger and bigger until the body of the Aghasura demon burst into many pieces. And the cowherd boys were saved, and Krishna stood there. And then everybody could see something amazing. The Atma, we're speaking of the Atma, Brahman, Atma, the soul of that demon. A light went out of that Aghasura's body into the sky, high up. And then that light came down and down and down and entered into Krishna's body. That's because every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. And that Aghasura demon, he got delivered. Liberation. Wow, we all want liberation. But what kind of liberation he got? The demons who are personally killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their liberation is Sayujya Mukti, merging into the Lord. As his Aghasura, his soul merged into Krishna's body. So some people, the impersonalists, they think that's the highest goal, Sayujya Mukti, merging into the Absolute. But they don't know that the demons also getting this benediction to merging. So in that Brahmajyoti, in that Brahman, you can think of it in that way. Your left door neighbor is Hiranyakashipu, and your right door neighbor is Ravana. All the demons who have personally been killed. They're inside Brahmajyoti, and if you want to merge into that Brahmajyoti too, then you have the association of the demons. So not a very good idea. Devotees generally don't want liberation. And certainly not Sayuchya Mukti, merging into the body of the Lord. That the devotees will never accept. Why? Because if they're merging into the body of the Lord, they cannot serve the Lord anymore. They become one with the Lord. So how can we serve? We can only serve if there is two, the Lord and we. It needs to be two. Just imagine, you want to serve Krishna in his deity form. And that's very nice. We can offer arti and everything. But if you merge into the deity, there's no more arti. There's no more nothing. There's no more feasting, no more kirtan. It's just like sitting in a big field as far as you can look. These are American wheat fields. They're going to the horizon all around. You only see a huge, big wheat field. So this Sayuchya Mukti is like sitting in this wheat field as far as you can look. And you're sitting so for eternity. No variety, just all on your own, this big wheat field. Is that a nice situation? No, it's not. Because we have desires. If we don't have material desires, we have spiritual desires. Desires will always be there. If there's no desires, we are dead. We are always, the mind is always active, and we always have desires. And we want these desires to be fulfilled. In the material consciousness, our desires are material desires. We want to get happiness through enjoying the interaction with the objects of the senses. In spiritual consciousness, we want also to get happiness, but by serving Krishna, by in a relationship with Krishna of various kinds, by exchange of transcendental emotions. There, on the spiritual platform, there we get our happiness. Like here in the material world, everybody is very happy when it's nice weather in the evening, there's a bit of wind and not so hot anymore, and you're sitting in the park under a tree with the family, and you have brought some barbecue, and everybody is happy. So these exchanges with your friends, with family members, and talking and sharing food, so that is pleasurable. So we have these desires, but in the spiritual world, everything is in relation with Krishna. Like when the cowherd boys going out with Krishna to the forest, they have their lunch pack. The mothers made them a lunch pack, sandwiches and rasgullas and gulab jamins and pakoras and samosas with cheese and curd and so many beautiful things the mothers made for them. And then they're sharing with Krishna. Look, Krishna, what my mother made for me. Oh, then they're biting in it. Oh, it tastes good. And so let Krishna bite in it. That is Goloka. Would we do that? When we offer to the deities, we first taste it. Oh yeah, very good. And then we give it to the Lord. No, big offense. Or we want to offer something to our Guru Maharaj. First we have a bite and then we give it to Guru. No, big offense. But in Goloka, these things in a mood of friendship and this is all going on. And nobody takes offense, and certainly not Krishna takes offense. They're biting the first bite, and then they give it to Krishna. Krishna, let's see if you like that preparation also. So like that. And when Krishna wants to rest, then Balaram let him put his head on his legs, or any other cowherd boy. And so many pastimes are enacted. It's all pleasurable pastimes. So much variety. Every day is new. A new adventure. Who wouldn't like that? There's a variety in Goloka. In comparison to merging in the brahmacharya, there is no variety. It's just eternity. For eternity, you're sitting there because you wanted to escape the variety in this material world. There is variety in this material world, and this variety in this material world is a source of our suffering. The interaction with other people, particular people, that interaction. Always we get frustrated. If it weren't for people, we were just all on our own. We wouldn't get frustrated. It's a people, because everybody has a different mindset and everybody wants something different and. So those people, impersonalists, they just have enough from this interaction in this material world. They can understand. My suffering is coming from the interaction, from this variety in this material world. That's where my suffering is coming from. Let me merge into the absolute. That will be the solution. Like the Buddhists, nirvana. It's not the solution. So they have to come down back to this material world in most cases. They have to come back. Why? Because they are thirsting for activities and variety. Because they cannot just sit there. Srila Prabhupada had this conversation with one of the devotees. And he told him, the brahmacharya, merging the brahmacharya is just like in that example. Srila Prabhupada gave that example, sitting in a big field. Nobody else, just you alone for eternity. And the devotee rightly said, oh no, I'd rather go to New York and distribute some prasadam and distribute some books. Because I want to engage in Krishna, in spiritual activities. Okay, let's get back. That was quite a bit of a detour. Let's get back to the verse. We have already analyzed the soul is indestructible, transcendental, the living entity, and it's called Brahman. And his eternal nature is called Adhyatma. Adhyatma. Atma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. That we know. Any activities we perform for the development of the body, even eating, and so many activities to make money and to get a house and a shelter and this and that, so many things. This is called karma, or fruitive activities. Fruitive, you will not find that in a dictionary. If you look, fruitive activities is not there. Srila Prabhupada made that word up for us to understand. Fruitive is just someone who plants a tree and fences it off for animals and waters it regularly and so much care. Why? Because he wants to eat the fruit of the tree. So fruitive activities are such activities which we perform in the hope of gaining some happiness, material happiness. Srila Prabhupada spoke in a class and spoke of the materialistic people. And he said, in the hope for some happiness, material happiness, they agree to suffer. It's just hope that happiness will never come. There's some temporary relief, but that's all. But true happiness will never come. But the hope is there. It's just like someone plays a lottery in the hope for winning some big sum of money. He just keeps on gambling and keeps on gambling, and each time, maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time. So in the hope for happiness, people agree to suffer. Let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport. Who wants to give it a read? Anyone?
I will read it because I'll read it because I'm here till 8 o'clock, so I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead. Read that first paragraph and then we'll see.
Brahman is indestructible and eternally existing, and its constitution is not changed at any time. But beyond Brahman, there is Para-Brahman. Brahman refers to the living entity, and Para-Brahman refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The constitutional position of the living entity is different from the position he takes in the material world. In material consciousness, his nature is to try to be the Lord of matter. But in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, his position is to serve the Supreme. When the living entity is in material consciousness, he has to take on various bodies in the material world. That is called karma, or varied creation by the force of material consciousness.
Okay, so that's some basic philosophical understanding of Krishna consciousness. Brahman, the soul, is indestructible, eternally existing. And its constitution is not changed at any time. Like in America, they have a constitution, the First Amendment, and so on and so on. So that constitution is never changed. So our constitution, what is our constitution? Let's ask this question. Anyone? What is our constitutional position?
Eternal servitor of Lord.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah. Eternal servitor of Krishna. Shivara Svarupa Hoy Nityera Krishna Das. Or Nitya Krishna Das. Nitya, eternal. Das is servant. So that is our constitutional position. We are eternally a servant of Krishna. If we know it or we don't know it, and most people don't know it, they serve Krishna in an indirect way. They're still serving Krishna. Nothing is out of Krishna, but indirectly. And the devotees serve Krishna directly. So this constitution is not changed at any time. And here Srila Prabhupada makes the distinction, which is very important. There is Brahman, and beyond Brahman there is Para-Brahman. The impersonalists, they don't accept that. They only care about the Brahman. And they think, I'm Brahman. And they think falsely, Krishna is also Brahman. So therefore, if I am Brahman and Krishna is Brahman, I am God. You are God. Everyone is God. So that is a proposal And therefore, they address each other. Om Namo Narayanaya. Good morning, Narayan, so to speak. Obeisance to you, Narayan. And the other person says, oh yeah, Om Namo Narayanaya. And obeisance to you, Narayan. You are Narayan, I'm Narayan, everybody is Narayan. And if we are enlightened, then we can see we are all Narayan. This is not the case. Because Krishna is not Brahman. Krishna is Para-Brahman. Also, as Brahman, he is like we are, eternal, full of knowledge and full of place. But that Para-Brahman, that Para comes in, he is a supreme Brahman. He is like the big fire and we like the small sparks. He's like the sun and we are like the quantum particles in the sunshine. So we are not in every sense like Krishna. And Krishna has transcendental qualities and we have some percentage of that quality. So we are never equal with Krishna. That is a fallacy of the impersonalists and the Mayavadis also. So here clearly there is a verse, anyone knows that verse, where Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Para-Brahman. Amrita Radhe Mataji. What is that verse?
Prabhu, is that Parabrahma, Paramdhama, Pavitram, Paramam? That one?
Yes. That is that verse. Where Arjuna is addressing Krishna, you are Param-Brahman. You are the supreme abode. And others have confirmed that. Asita, Devala, and other great personality. So he is referring to other great personality. Why? Because one may think, oh, he's just flattering Krishna because Krishna is his friend. So he's just flattering. But so Arjuna says no. That is confirmed by other great authorities. Just to give weight to that statement, it's not just him saying that. Others, great personalities, they're also saying Krishna is Para-Brahman and Para-Dharma. So that distinction is there. Para-Brahman refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Srila Prabhupada makes also the distinction. In material consciousness, we trying to lord over matter. That's a very important statement. We like to be the controller. And we are controllers, little controllers. And Krishna is a para, the topmost controller. We are little controllers in our family. We are the boss of the household. Maybe. Also, the wife is a real boss, really, in most families. But officially, we are the boss of the household. We are the controller of the family situation. We may be the controller in the community. We may be even the controller in the country. We may be prime minister and we think we are so important. We can decide to go to war or to go to peace. We're becoming addicted to power. And when we are kicked out, we make all kinds of arrangements not to be kicked out of our position because we have become addicted to power. So there's all controllers, prime ministers and presidents, they're all controllers. But Krishna is a supreme controller. Krishna is a controller of all controllers. So again, we have a distinction. As mentioned before, the sunshine is having the qualities of light and heat and warmth, like the sun. But the sun, there is no comparison of the quantum particles in the sunshine and the sun itself. The sun is just so great. We say the sun has come. Opens the windows, the sun, lets the sun come in. Well, if the sun would come in, it would everything would going up in flames. But the sunshine, we say the sun has come in. So there is similarities, but the sun is so much more powerful. So same with Krishna. He is a supreme controller in material consciousness. And but in spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, his position is to serve the Supreme. So the living entity has understood those who are devotees. They are not the Supreme controller and the Supreme enjoyer also. People want to, in this material world, they want to be the Supreme enjoyer. And everybody wants a Supreme enjoyer. And then there is fighting. Fighting over money, over land, over resources, because everybody wants to be the supreme enjoyer. In the spiritual world, it's not like that. Everybody accepts the supremacy of Krishna, and everybody accepts we are just humble servants of Krishna. And by being humble servants of Krishna, we enjoy with Krishna. And as Srila Prabhupada points out, in material consciousness, we have to take on various bodies in this material world. This is called karma. By the force of material consciousness. Any question that far or anything to add before we go further? Anything?
No questions, Prabhu. But
No, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I need to get going now. So
okay, you go.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you on Saturday, Amit.
Yes, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Speak with Varshana about the menu, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I will do, Prabhu. Thank
Yes.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Rituan, you wanted to speak.
No, Prabhu. I was saying like no questions. Thank you.
No questions. Dharm, any question?
Parabrahma. Primeval God. The original. Krishna is Parabrahma, meaning he's the original primeval God.
Yeah.
So does that mean from him emanates all created creatures, inanimate objects, and his Chaitanya, his consciousness as well. Did it all emanate from him? So there's three things: created creatures, anything inanimate in the wind, the rain, the ocean, and then the universes. They all emanate from Krishna, but also the Chaitanya, which is spiritual consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Yeah. They all emanate from him. They can't emanate from us. They will emanate from him. So we can't be we can't pass to the Lord, but we're not the Lord. We can't merge with him. We have different qualities. Yes, so I think that's my understanding. I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bit further. In the next paragraph. Who wants to read? Rituan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. In Vedic literature, the living entity is called Jivatma and Brahman, but is never called Parabrahman. The living entity Jivatma takes different positions. Sometimes he merges into the dark material nature and identifies himself with matter, and sometimes he identifies himself with the superior spiritual nature. Therefore, he is called Supreme Lord's marginal energy. According to his identification with material or spiritual nature, he receives a material or spiritual body. In material nature, he may take a body from any of the 84 lakhs species of life.
8,400,000, 84
Yeah.
lakh.
Species of life, but in spiritual nature, he has only one body. In material nature, he is manifested sometimes as man, demigod, animal, beast, bird, etc., according to his karma, to attain material heavenly planets and enjoy their facilities. He sometimes performs sacrifices or yajna, but when his merit is exhausted, he returns to the earth again in the form of a man. This process is called karma.
Okay,
The
you want to say something about that paragraph?
No, here Prabhupada specifically emphasizes on, first of all, he mentions that Jivatma and Paramatma or Parabrahma, they are not the same. Supreme Personality of Godhead is Parabrahman. So he can never, Jivatma can never be same as Parabrahma, just like as you explained. And he mentions that according to the desire, according to whatever desire we have, as because we are the marginal potency, we can choose whether to whether to take shelter of the material energy of the Supreme Lord or to take shelter of the spiritual energy of the Supreme Lord. If somebody wishes to enjoy this material world separate from Krishna, then he will get one of the material bodies according to his karma. And that is a cycle of karma. If he does sinful activities, he will go down the evolutionary pathway, or if he does some pious activities, he will go to higher planetary systems.
What's the verse?
Abrahma Bhuvanan Loka Punaravartina Arjuna. That one.
Yes, but there's
Another one is
another verse.
Pine Punyam Vartalokam Vishanti.
What's the other verse of explaining that the living entity sometimes goes up and sometimes goes down until he meets, by the grace of a spiritual master, and Krishna, he gets a seat of.
Oh, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jeev. That one, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Guru Krishna Pai Bhakti Lata Bij.
What does it mean?
So a living entity roams around the material world in different bodies, birth after birth, unless and until he gets the mercy of the spiritual master. And at that time he's called fortunate, the fortunate living entity. Guru Krishna Kripai Pai Bhakti Rata Bij. By the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, he gets the seed of the spiritual transcendental creeper.
Yes, and not only in the world, he goes up in the universe.
Yes, bro, universe.
Yes. So how to become fortunate?
Sorry, bro?
How to become fortunate? That's an interesting question, because it sounds almost like chance. If one is fortunate enough. Yes, so how to become fortunate? What does it mean to be fortunate?
Yeah, the meaning, this is explained like fortunate. The real meaning of being fortunate is that we are getting the grace of the spiritual master. We are meeting our spiritual master, and our spiritual life begins.
Yes, not only the spiritual master, we are getting in touch with devotees. Yes. And then our fortune begins. We are in touch. Sometimes we forget. We don't really appreciate we getting into the association of devotees. This is a very, very special mercy that makes us fortunate. And in the association of devotees, we can develop to the highest stage of Krishna consciousness. Other people may not get at this point in time the association of devotees. So they're not fortunate. But we, as devotees, we spreading this Krishna consciousness all over the world, all over the universe, because we want to make everybody fortunate. That's how Srila Prabhupada put it. Okay, nicely said. Read a bit more return, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Chandogya Upanishad describes the Vedic sacrificial process. On the sacrificial altar, 5 kinds of offerings are made into 5 kinds of fire. The 5 kinds of fire are conceived of as heavenly planets, clouds, the earth, man, and woman. And the 5 kinds of sacrificial offerings are faith, the enjoyer on the moon, rain, grains, and the semen. In the process of sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reaches them. When the merit of sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to the earth in the form of rain, then takes on the form of grains, and the grains are eaten by man and transformed into semen, which impregnates a woman, and thus the living entity once again attains the human form to perform sacrifice, and so repeat the same cycle. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifices. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness and thereby prepares himself to return to Godhead. Impersonally,
Yes, that's very nicely explained here. We are not concerned about these yagyas as described in this paragraph, because we, as devotees, we take to the direct process of worshipping Krishna directly, and neither do we aspire to go to the heavenly planets. Not all devotees are. There are some devotees, let's put it like that, they aspire to go to the heavenly planets. There's a lot of people actually who come into Krishna consciousness and they perform devotional activities with in the back of their mind with the aim of getting pious credits to go to the heavenly planets. So we should not think every devotee is aspiring to go to Goloka or Vaikuntha. That is not always the case. If we have that mentality, we're doing so many activities in devotional service, but we have the mentality of wanting to get some pious reward. That's all what we get. The pious reward can be exchanged into a position in the heavenly planets. But sincere and serious devotees, they don't want pious reward. They don't want blessings. They don't ask Krishna for blessings. They don't execute devotional service for blessings. We don't want. Prahlad Maharshi is the best example. And Lord Nrsimhadev wanted to give him blessings. He was so pleased with Prahlad. And Prahlad said, "My dear Lord, I'm not a merchant. I do something for you because I want something from you." That's a merchant consciousness. That's a business transaction. Prahlad rejected that completely. And all pure devotees rejecting that. They don't want to make an exchange. I offer devotional service. I engage in devotional service to Krishna. And so because I want Krishna to fulfill my material desires. That may be okay at the very, very, very beginner's level. At least people come to Krishna for their material desires. At least that, and that qualifies them as pious living entities. But if we advance a little bit more, this mentality we should not have. We don't want blessings from Krishna. We want nothing from Krishna. On the pure devotional platform, the gopis or any pure devotees said don't want anything in return for their service. They are satisfied with serving Krishna. This mentality we should aspire for, to be satisfied with serving Krishna. That's in itself, to be a servant of Krishna. That is the most satisfying thing. That is our satisfaction of serving Krishna, consciously serving Krishna. Like the gopis, they are the personification of that highest form of unalloyed, pure bhakti. And they have no self-interest at all, zero. And Krishna feels so obliged. He said, my dear gopis, I don't know what to give you. You see, Krishna always wants to reciprocate with his devotees. They're pleasing him, he wants to please them. And there is a competition. Then who is winning? Krishna pleases the devotees, and the devotees want to please Krishna even more. And Krishna wants to please the devotees even more, and the devotees want to please Krishna. So there is a competition going on. But Krishna said to the gopis, your devotional service is so unalloyed, unmotivated, is so pure. You have given up everything for my service. I don't know how to reciprocate with you. Nabparayaham. Please be satisfied with just serving me. That's what the devotees who are aspiring for pure devotional service, that's what they cultivate, to be satisfied with serving Krishna. Not some exchanges of some blessings, of some please take my bad karma away, or give me this, give me that, give me money, give me health, give me nice wife, nice family, education, so many things. No. Those who are aspiring for pure devotional service, they don't even think of wanting anything in return from Krishna. All what they are happy with is just serving Krishna and be satisfied with serving Krishna. So we don't engage in this yagyas for material benefits. And now we come into impersonalists, commentators. Read us a little bit more later, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro. Impersonalist commentators on the Bhagavad Gītā unreasonably assume that Brahman takes the form of Jiva in the material world, and to substantiate this, they refer to chapter 15, verse 7 of the Gita. But in this verse, the Lord also speaks of the living entity as eternal fragment of myself, the fragment of God. The living entity may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord, Achyuta, never falls down. Therefore, this assumption that Supreme Brahman assumes the form of Jiva is not acceptable. It is important to remember that in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the living entity, is distinguished from Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. You want to say anything about that paragraph?
Oh, Prabhupada here re-emphasizes on the fact that Brahman and Parabrahman are not the same. So even if the Jiva falls down, as because Jiva is the marginal energy, he is not the energetic, he is not the Supreme Lord who falls down. So impersonalists who think that Jiva is falling down is same as the Supreme Lord falling down again in this material world into Maya, that is irrational thinking.
What's an example? It's a classical example Srila Prabhupada gives of the marginal energy. So that we can understand what does it mean to be the margin. That's quite abstract.
Okay, Prabhu, about a person walking down the shore of a sea or ocean or a river bank. Is that one, Prabhu?
Yes, on the seaside.
Yeah. So that person has got the free will or independence or wish or desire to either go towards the water or remain on the land. So as because the living entity is situated in between the land and the water, so it depends upon his desire. So similarly, the living entity, which is a marginal potency, on one side is the spiritual world or spiritual energy of the Lord, and on the other side is the material world or the material energy of the Lord. So as per the desire, whether the desires are transcendental desires or material desires, he can choose to take the pathway he wishes. He can go down to the water or remain on the land.
Yes, not exactly. It's an example, but nice. Nice. Although, in most cases, we cannot choose. It sounds like
Yeah, yes.
we can choose. Okay, I'm choosing. I'll diving into Maya. But that can also happen. Yes, that we willingly choose. But generally, we are overtaken by said Daivi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya, Krishna's Maya. It's his divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. So the example, as Srila Prabhupada gives it, is there is a stretch of land on the seashore. Let's say when the tide is out, then there is land. And when the tide comes in, then there is water. So what is it? Land? One moment it's land, the next moment it's water. And not only is the tide, which is some 4 hours or 5 hours cycle, but even the waves going back and we're standing on the sand. And the next moment a wave comes and we're standing in the water. And the next moment we're standing in the sand. So that is a marginal energy. We have the material body, which and we have the material body and we are spirit soul. So we are overcome by material desires easily due to our material body. And when we are in Krishna consciousness, we are transcendental to the material body. And we are in spiritual consciousness. So sometimes spiritual consciousness, sometimes material consciousness. Not so much to our choosing, but by the force of material nature. It's very difficult to. The yogi is trying to overcome this force of material nature by the yogic practices, which is very, very difficult. Devotees said don't try by their own strength to overcome this material nature, this illusory energy. They just take shelter of Krishna in the hope, rightly, that Krishna will ask the material energy, go away, don't, this is my devotee, don't disturb my devotee. In the advanced stage of Krishna consciousness, Krishna will wave the material energy away. He will, because Durga, the material energy, is a servant of the Lord also. So Krishna will say, this is my devotee, don't disturb him anymore. He belongs to me. So that is the example. And the verse, Daivi Esha Gunamai, says, my divine energy is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me, that is a critical point. Surrendering to Krishna. And Krishna asking that surrender in many, many verses of Bhagavad Gītā. Truly surrender, not kind of intellectual surrender, is not enough. One has to give one's life and soul to Krishna through the spiritual master, through the pure devotee, through the acharya. One has to give one's life and soul to Srila Prabhupada. And then Krishna will accept. Krishna will not accept direct surrender. I only surrender to Krishna directly, without Guru. No. Krishna says, you become das anu das anu das, 100 times removed. You become the servant of my pure devotee. Like Lord Chaitanya also said that. Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to surrender to Lord Chaitanya. He did all tricks to get away from his family. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, you surrender to Nityananda Prabhu. Get his mercy. And that's what he did. And Nityananda Prabhu, Nitai, is of course our original spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya basically said, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You surrender to the spiritual master. to my dear most pure devotee. Then I will accept you. And that's exactly what happened. Raghunath Das Goswami, he approached Nityananda Prabhu, who was sitting, there's this beautiful picture, he was sitting on a raised platform, and so many devotees all around him. And he was speaking, and they were listening, and then Raghunath Das came from the distance and came a bit closer. And he stopped at a distance and he offered his obeisances, as we would do. We're not just walking up into the assembly of the sadhus, of the devotees, and, okay, let me sit in the first row. That would be quite presumptuous. That would be very proud and arrogant position. No, we offer our obeisances from the distance. And someone pointed out, look, Nitai, there is Raghunath Das offering obeisances. And then Nityananda Prabhu said, oh, thief, come here, said I will punish you. Why he called him thief? Because thieves usually say stay away. They try not to be detected. They do their business from the distance, not to be seen. So he called him thief, because he's jokingly in the distance. Come here, I will punish you. What could Raghunath Das do? He came into the presence of Lord Nityananda. He offered his obeisances, and Lord Nityananda put his foot on his head. Oh, if we get the foot on our head of the pure devotee, then that is truly a blessing. And there's a nice side story of some Mataji who wanted to touch Srila Prabhupada's feet in the early days. That was possible. Later on, more difficult. And all the other Matajis had already touched Srila Prabhupada's feet, and she had never touched Srila Prabhupada's feet. And at the time, then for Guru Puja, everybody, as you know, we offer some flowers, and then we bow down, and everybody touched Srila Prabhupada's feet. And he allowed that. So when it came her turn, she offered her flowers, but somehow she couldn't touch his feet. She couldn't touch his feet. And then that chance went by, because there were other devotees waiting. And she thought, oh no, I missed. I had so much desire to touch Srila Prabhupada's feet, and I missed that opportunity. Well, that may be the only opportunity in my life. I missed it. And then after Guru Puja, Srila Prabhupada walked out of the temple room, and devotees made some corridors. They stood left and right and bowed down, and Srila Prabhupada walked in the middle of that corridor. And then she thought, this is my second chance. While I bow down and Srila Prabhupada passes by and she was in the first row, I will touch his feet. That was her plan. And when Srila Prabhupada was there, and he stood there even, she wanted to touch his feet, and she couldn't. There was like an invisible wall. She couldn't penetrate that invisible wall. And she thought, and Srila Prabhupada seems to be completely oblivious. He was just smiling to the devotees, and she could not penetrate this wall to touch his feet. And she thought to herself, how Krishna protects his pure devotee. Krishna doesn't allow just anybody to touch the feet of the pure devotee. Because we know we're touching a sadhu's feet. We're giving our karma to the sadhu. And then the sadhu will touch our head, and he gives it back. So she couldn't. And then she saw Tulsi in the distance. There were Tulsi Devi in a nice plant pot. And instinctively she prayed to Tulsi, my dear Tulsi Maharani, please help me to touch Srila Prabhupada's feet. That's a proper way. to pray to the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And as soon as she prayed to Tulsi Devi, who is the most dearmost servant of Krishna, that invisible shield, that wall had disappeared, and she could extend her hand and touch Srila Prabhupada's feet. Wow, what a great mercy that is. So we have to go. Krishna wants us to surrender to the pure devotee, to the spiritual master, and then he will accept us, not directly. That would be too a proud proposition. Where I knew I will not find my way back. Before that story with that devotee, Mataji, what did we speak? Help me. Return.
Oh, you were saying that basically we have to approach Krishna through the Vaishnavas. Krishna doesn't accept if we directly, surrender to him.
Okay, got it back. Raghunath Das. So, come here, you are a thief, I will punish you. So he put his foot on Raghunath Das Goswami's head. And he said, your punishment will be, you cook some sweet rice, because he comes from a very Kayashta family, a merchant, a very rich family, and rich parents who always try to give him all kind of financial assistance. And so you cook two preparations. Chipped rice with milk and chipped rice with dahi, yogurt. What's that festival called? Ritu and Prabhu?
Prabhu, it's Chira Dadhi Mahotsav in Panihati.
Shira?
Shira Dadhi. Shira means the chipped rice. Dadhi is the yogurt.
Dadhi is a yogurt, Mahotsav.
Also known as Danda Mahotsav.
Yes, great festival. So that was the order, that was a punishment. And Raghunath Das, Haribol. Lord Nityananda has given me some devotional service to all the Vaishnavas. Wow, that was very blissful. And he had the means, and he organized huge quantities of the chipped rice and the yogurt. Sometimes he said condensed milk also. So he was very happy. He arranged all that. And the news spread. There's a festival going on. Then all the villagers from distant villages, they got the news. They immediately set off, packed a few things, and let's go. There is prasadam. Everybody likes prasadam. When the devotees here, there is a big feast, and they also come. Yeah, oh, there's prasadam. It's a Hare Krishna center. Let's go. Let's come. So not only the villagers came, soon there were some merchant as well on the little cart. If you have been in India, you have seen these two-wheeler carts with a platform where all kind of, they sold bananas, they sold this in huge quantity, and Raghunath Das, he bought it all, and he made a big feast for all the devotees. And in that Mahotsava, in that assembly, Lord Chaitanya was so pleased. He appeared in that assembly. Not everybody could see. Some could see, others could not. And he took a morsel from everybody's offering there, and he ate, and he blessed all the devotees. And Lord Nityananda, he danced and chanted, and it was a beautiful, big festival. Then later, he was back home, Raghunath Das, and Lord Chaitanya had instructed him, your family, because he ran away from home. He was quite young. He ran away from home And his parents always, they sent the servants out and they got him back. Just imagine, you want to become a devotee. I will move to the temple. The parents come in. No, back home. Has happened. Not so nice. So then one night, and they even got him married. He couldn't refuse. With a beautiful wife. And his wife said, that will tie him down. That will get his mind off to join Chaitanya, the mad dancer and chanter. And then his father said, no, this boy cannot be tied down even by a beautiful wife. And that was true. One night, the family priest, Yadunandan Acharya, he was at the Durga Mandap, at the temple there, and they talked, and he was a family priest. And then it became quite late. And then Yadunandan Acharya said, I'll have to leave now. It's already getting dark. And his residence was a bit away. And then Raghunath says, I will accompany you. It is dark and better to go by 2 through the forest. So Yadunandan Acharya accepted. And Raghunath, in his mind, he said, that's my chance. And the servants were already taking rest. And so he accompanied Yadunandan Acharya to his house, and then he ran away. This time he didn't go on the public way, because they will realize he has run away at one point and send the servants again and get him back. He walked the forest path. Very difficult to walk, with wild animals, with snakes and dangerous paths. So he walked through the forest. And all what he walked towards where Lord Chaitanya was residing at the time. He wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya. He wanted to join Lord Chaitanya. And he only occasionally took a little bit of milk from a milkman. And he only stayed at the milkman's house as long as it takes to milk a cow. Not to get involved in any frivolous conversation. Just a short moment. And after a few days of a very austere journey through the forest, he reached Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was very pleased. What did Lord Chaitanya do? He put him in the charge of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Again, not directly, but Swarup Damodar Goswami was the most confidential servitor of Lord Chaitanya, and they discussed the most confidential topics, and he kept the diaries. Therefore we have Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita from the diary of Swarup Damodar. So there are many, many lessons. But the main lessons to be learned from this story is we have first to get the mercy of the spiritual master, the representative of Lord Nityananda. Then we can approach Krishna. Okay, here we stop. Any questions to this verse or what was we talked about tonight, or any other question? 1 or 2 questions, and then we stop. Anyone? Or any comments? No? Okay, I will remind you again. Ritu, you want to say something?
No, Prabhu, I say thanks. No comments, Prabhu.
I want to remind you again, on the 3rd of August, come to Leicester. We have a wonderful festival. Yes, Sweet Rice Festival of Lord Nityananda. Chittadahi. And we have Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Sannyasi, and Bhakti Govinda Swami, and a few devotees. They're coming from France on a tour through the UK, and they will stop in Leicester. And we have Narada Prabhu and Neera Mataji, who is a famous kirtan singer from Bhaktivedanta Mana. So, and quite a few devotees. It will be a beautiful festival. It will start not at 7 as usually, it will start at 5. Because Swarup Damodar Maharaj, he takes usually rest at 8 in the evening and wakes up at 1 o'clock and chants his 150 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, something like that. So he is, you can imagine the potency of someone who chants 150 rounds in the middle of the night every day. So there is immense potency there. We have seen some videos dancing very ecstatically. So it will be a big festival, a big Mahotsava. Make arrangements in your diary, 3rd of August, 5 o'clock. Here we stop. Thank you very much for being here, and particular thank you, Divandra Dham, for being here tonight. And I hope you can come every Wednesday and perhaps Saturday as well. But Wednesday is a very nice small group, and I hope you got something out of that tonight. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.